So do you feel like you've just too much stuff in your house and you don't know how it got to this level? That when you open up your wardrobe, things are falling out of it? Or when you look in your kitchen, there's just so many things on the counter that you find it actually quite stressful. So today I want to talk about minimalism, but also how it can be linked to your wealth. Of course, if you cut back on spending on materialistic items, of course you'll save money there. But maybe you might be spending on things right now that you don't realize are actually affecting your bank balance. And I'm going to go through the top ways that you can reduce down your materialistic items in your house, be a little bit more minimalist, and of course improve your wealth in the meantime too. The first thing I want to chat about is technology. Are you one of these people who always gets a brand new iPhone every time they come out? They can be crazy expensive. And if you maybe just hold on and maybe skip a year or two, you could save an awful lot of money. So for example, if we look at the latest iPhone, which is here, this is how much it currently costs. And if you were to pay that right now, would you pay it on credit card or would you have savings to purchase this item? And if you're paying using credit, that's not money that you own. You're borrowing money, of course, to pay for something that maybe isn't worth it. Whereas if you look at this iPhone, which is 4 years old, this is how much it currently costs in the UK. So if you look at the difference, which one is most useful to you? Could you save the difference there and put it in a high yield savings account or an investment account for yourself? Do you need a brand new phone with all the bells and whistles, or would this iPhone do you perfectly fine? The second thing I want to chat about is downsizing your home. Now, I don't want you to have to move if you don't have to, but if you feel like the majority of your money is going towards your rent or your mortgage, maybe you need to understand, hey, is this really worth it? So I always go back to the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% of your monthly income should go towards your needs, okay? And that should be your rent, your mortgage, any sort of bills for your home, any kind of car cost to get you to work and back, and any groceries, and of course any debt repayments that you might have. So if you feel like your rent or your mortgage is way more than the average and kind of leaning towards 50% of your monthly income, you should really step back. You can either, of course, downsize, move to a different area. Maybe you have a 2-bed flat, but it's just you. Maybe you could move to a 1-bed or a studio, or maybe you could just get a housemate or a friend to, sleep in a sofa bed or a spare room that you may have, so that you can have a little bit of income there and not have to spend so much. So really understand your environment, because usually where we live is the biggest chunk and our biggest expense. The third thing I want to chat about is experiences rather than things. So to lean more towards minimalism, maybe it's your birthday and you can say to your friends, hey, I don't want a physical present, but maybe let's go for lunch or let's go for a road trip. It's okay to spend money in different ways if you feel like it's going to be more beneficial and create more memories to you rather than another handbag and something that will just clutter up your bedroom. Focusing on more experiences, like things like travel or spending time with friends and family, or even just going for a walk in a park by yourself. These can be a lot more fruitful than buying more crap that's cluttering your home. So what kind of experiences can you guys think of? Drop them down below. What are the kind of things that you could swap out from what you're currently buying to maybe just doing something with a person instead? So for example, buying more jewelry, maybe you could go for a walk with a friend and walk through like a vintage jewelry store and more like window shop, or maybe have an idea in the future about which one you want to buy. Because if you were to buy something that's £100 and you save up and pay for it fully in cash, that's cool, like go and do that. Rather than buying a lot of cheap jewelry that's £5 each, and maybe you have 100 bits of jewelry in your cabinet right now and they're not very good quality, they're turning green, they turn your fingers green. How about maybe move that money into one that's, better quality material and one that's a bit more long lasting, and even in the difference of what you would spend there would save that chunk of money instead of just spending it on something that's just gonna fall apart. The next one I want to chat about is furniture for your home. Now this is one that saved me loads of money. So when I first moved in, I didn't want to spend an awful lot on furniture. Instead, what I looked at was Facebook Marketplace, eBay, of course. There's a website called Free Cycle for free furniture. And I really looked for better materials. I didn't want to just buy IKEA. Now, no shade on IKEA, but I bought stuff from there before and they just didn't last. It was MDF furniture, it was chipboard furniture, it wasn't even real wood. So I went onto Facebook Marketplace and I got solid wood furniture for my home, which was way less expensive than buying it brand new or buying something from IKEA, which wouldn't have lasted as long. I even went onto that website FreeCycle and I managed to get a brand new feckin' armchair, which would have cost me £600, but they gave it to me for free because they were moving house. And I genuinely rocked up in my car to like this mansion in like Surrey, which is a very expensive part of the UK. And just because they were moving and they didn't have a space for it, they gave it away, but it didn't mean that it was any less valuable. They said that they got it at a design fair and they probably paid more than £600, to be honest, because it's really heavy and it's beautiful material. And I got that for free. So I think that phrase, another person's trash is another person's treasure, really rings true with these websites. So if you give it the time, you're more likely to find really good gems for less. The next thing I want to talk about is digital declutter. Now, I recently did a video on this, which I'll pop up here. But what I mean by this is if you've got things on your phone like apps for Deliveroo, maybe Uber Eats, maybe you've got things on there like Facebook Marketplace and you're spending too much in there, you know, that's the other flip of the coin. You really have to rein yourself in and only buy things that you need. But maybe you could put an app block on certain apps that you don't want to go on, like TikTok, so prevent you from buying things frivolously and filling up your room with crap. But even things like unsubscribing to these email letters or maybe sales emails that you get from marketing teams telling you that there's something 50% off, so you're more enticed to buy things. If you just unsubscribe from a lot of those emails and delete apps that you feel are tricking you into overspending, you will make your life a lot more easier, a lot more simple and more minimalist for yourself. So instead of always upgrading your wardrobe to the newest clothes by buying fast fashion or the newest colors, maybe focus on things like a more basic color palette for your wardrobe. Now, I am not a fashion channel at all, as you can see, okay? But this has really worked for me to have more of a minimalist wardrobe and more of a capsule wardrobe. So I tend to just buy things or keep things that are super cozy that I wear around the house, like this jumper, or when I'm going out, like basic white tees with jeans. I always have Levi's jeans. I have about 3 that I have in rotation. And then I have a good quality, you know, cotton t-shirt in black, white or grey. And then going around the house, I just have like the coziest things. And I recently did a video where I got rid of 50% of my stuff. I'll pop up here if you're curious, but it really made me feel different about my life, just getting rid of so much stuff, because it clears your head. And of course, all the money that you'd spent on all of those clothes really makes you think, because at the end of the day, you either throw them away or give them to a charity shop. So it really makes you understand the value of your money and how you can, you know, progress from there. When you have fewer items at home, you're less likely to fall into consumerism or materialism, okay? You really start to understand, okay, what things bring you value in your home and what things do I want to keep, and maybe some things that don't bring me joy, just to get rid of them. Are you someone who's maybe a little bit of a hoarder and they don't know where to start? What I did when I was cleaning out my wardrobe recently and got rid of 50% of my stuff, I would literally throw everything onto the bed, everything that I owned in terms of clothes, okay? And then I would pick up each item and then I would understand, okay, when was the last time I wore this? Did I wear it in the last 12 months? If not, it's going to a charity shop if it's an okay quality. If it's literally got holes in it, maybe it's time for the bin. And I did this with every item until I had, you know, this kind of capsule bit of wardrobe that I could put away, and it cleared up so much space. And I was able to donate a lot of clothes and also sell clothes on these websites like Depop and eBay and Vinted. I was able to make a couple of £100 there on clothes every time I would sell stuff. So this is why it's really good to not just reduce what you own, but try and only buy things of quality. Like the furniture here, I tend to have just 100% wood furniture where there is wood. And if I am to go on and sell it, I would get a better price than if I just bought IKEA, and then if I tried to resell IKEA, you wouldn't get that much money for it. So having better qualities in clothes as well, like cotton or linen, things like that, or wool, they're likely to sell for a better price when you do sell them on Depop at a later stage. So it's not just about scrimping and not having any stuff. It's just about having better quality stuff. So in the future, it's not just going into a landfill. It's either being sold to benefit someone else, or else, you know, give it to a charity shop. And if you were spending, let's say, £300 every month on fast fashion, on stuff like from Zara or Primark or places where the material is just not that good. You could instead spend £100 every month and save the difference. Put that £200 in a high yield savings account and let it grow in the background for yourself. So you'll have better quality clothes, less stuff and more savings. So it's a win-win situation. I'd love to know your tips because I'm really getting into it lately. This is another tip that I heard recently on a YouTube channel, which I'll try and pop down below in the description if I can find it. But what she said is if you find your house is really full of clutter and you don't know where to start, you should try the 3-minute rule, okay? And what that means is pop on a 3-minute timer on your phone and just focus on one section. So maybe it's your shoe rack. It's an absolute mess, okay? So give yourself 3 minutes and tidy up within that 3 minutes, and you can see the timer going down in front of you. And having this kind of pressure on you makes you realize, oh, hey, this is actually not such a bad job. And it's only going to take me 3 minutes to do this one job. And that's really helped me with clearing out and decluttering some of the spaces here. So I just wanted to relay that tip onto you because I found it super, super helpful. Thanks, guys. I tend to post 2 videos a week. So if you're curious about money information, money tips, want to save more, hopefully this channel will help you guys. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye.